money desk now. Rofihwa Madzena joining me. Hi, Rofihwa. So the local market hitting another record high. This is great. Who are the winners?
So it's been a very interesting week for the local market, Sally, and we're about to find out who those winners are from Gary Booysen from Rand Swiss. So as we've just been saying, the JSE has been making some impressive moves since Monday, and there are both local and global catalysts. Gary, very exciting day if you are an investor or a trader on the local bourse. I think since Monday, these record highs that keep beating one another. Just give us a sense of the reasons that we're seeing this.
Yeah, so today it was really driven by the resource index, up more than 3.5%. So we had a little bit of corporate earnings that helped lift certainly sentiment around the resource sector. But I think the excitement is just coming from internationally. Everyone is very focused on that Biden stimulus program, $1.9 trillion potentially coming into international markets. That's creating all sorts of exuberance among investors that are hunting for yield. They're starting to move towards the emerging markets. We are starting to see some of that capital flow onto our shores as well via portfolio flows, and it's just helping to boost up many sectors, but today specifically the resources.
Right, and then we talk about who the winners are in this kind of scenario. We're seeing the JSE, those record highs that we've just mentioned, but the South African economy is in the doldrums. How do these movements affect our economy, if at all, in a positive way?
Yes, I think it's important to understand that an economy and economic data and stock market and financial market data are very different. And what you have is the stock market is one of the most reliable leading indicators for economic data. So if you see a stock market going up and our stock market going up as it is, that is a fairly reliable indicator that we will see better economic data coming through in the next, say, 6 to 12 months. So it is very optimistic for everyone, just the man on the street at the moment. Higher stock market sure will mean better returns in your pension fund. It will mean better returns for anyone that's invested in equity markets, but it also does mean that the economy is on a much better footing likely in future, because this is a prediction of what's going to happen. Obviously, shares with higher stock prices also can raise capital. Raising capital means that there can be new spending programs and hopefully more projects coming to light in South Africa. So hopefully it means more employment down the line.
Right, very interesting there. And of course, something else that's also on a better footing is the Rand, below 14.70 at some stage this afternoon. Is that a weaker dollar, or is it the commodity prices that we're seeing?
Yes, I think higher commodity prices are partly a function of that. South Africa is still considered almost a commodity-driven economy, and our currency trades on the back of that. We are slightly stronger against the dollar. We're also stronger against the euro. We're flat against the pound at the moment. So some of this is coming through as dollar weakness, but I think it just comes down to that optimism around emerging market assets. The Rand is often traded as a proxy for positive sentiment in the emerging markets, just because of how liquid our currency is, and that's why we're seeing it below. I think it was below 14.70 at one point to the dollar today. So, again, I think it's just feeding off that optimism, but certainly there are, I think, real fundamental reasons why we're starting to see some of that cash flow back into the market.
Very interesting insights coming out of how the JSE is performing this afternoon. Gary, as always, thank you for your time. That's Gary Booysen from Rand Swiss, and it's